Let's do this, guys. We're going to tackle these equations that have fractions in them. So this was Wednesday's class opener. And as you can see here, we have a fraction that we need to distribute into the parentheses. But there's many things that we could do before that, actually, to make it easier. So I want to get rid of this minus 3, this guy right here. I want to get rid of that guy by doing the additive inverse. In other words, adding 3 to both sides. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So let me rewrite this thing. I want to have a 1/2 parentheses x minus 4 close parentheses equals 10. Now, from here, all you got to do is either distribute the fraction or get rid of the fraction. So if you want to get rid of a fraction, you know that you need to multiply everything by the denominator, the LCD. But in this case, there's only one denominator. There's only one fraction, one denominator. So we need to multiply everything by 2. So what you do to one side, you do to the other side. Now you might be thinking, what about the x and what about the minus 4? How come you didn't multiply those guys by 2? Well, whatever you do to the outside, it's really like doing it to the inside because of the distributive property that exists. So on the left side, you just multiply the 1/2 by 2, and that ends up canceling out. And on the other side, you end up with a 20, because 10 times 2 is 20. So let me bring down the left side of the equation here. 1 parentheses x minus 4. And if you were to distribute that 1 times x, 1 times negative 4, it's not going to change anything. So it's really just going to be an x minus 4 equals 20. And the only other thing to do now would be to do the opposite of minus 4, the additive inverse of minus 4. So if you go plus 4 and plus 4, you'll get your final answer, x equals 24. Boom, done. Okay, let's move on to the second question. Look at this. This looks crazy. This has a bunch of fractions in it, and they all have different denominators. So this is the place where most students struggle, getting rid of all these fractions. Now you could get rid of them one at a time, or what you could do is find the LCD. Okay, what is an LCD, and how do you find that? Well, if you look at all those denominators over there, which one is the biggest denominator? That would be 8. Okay, so look at the 8 and think, could I change the other guys to look like 8? I mean, could I change the 3 to become an 8? No. Could I change the 6 to become an 8? No. Could I change the 4? Yeah, the 4 you could, but none of the rest. So the thing is, it needs to work for all of them. Okay, so 8 doesn't work. You can't change all of them to 8. So then try 8 times 2. Okay, well, maybe 16, right? If we try 16, could we change the 3 to a 16? No, you can't, so forget it. 8 didn't work, 16 doesn't work. Let's try 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is 24, right? Could you change the 3 to become a 24? Yes, you could. The 8, yeah, 8 times 3 is 24. The 6, yeah, 6 times 4 is 24. The 4, yeah, 4 times 6 is 24. So 24 is the LCD. And that's what we're going to be using to eliminate the fractions. So let's go back and zoom in on this equation right here, number 2. And let's get rid of all these fractions by multiplying by the LCD, which we said was 24. That's going to be kind of tricky because there's not much space. So here we go. Let me do a 24 right here. Let me do a 24 right here. Let me do a 24 right here and a 24 right here. And let's start canceling fractions out. Now remember, 24 is on top and 3 is on the bottom. What does that mean? That 24 divided by 3 is really 8. Okay, so you really have 8 times 2 up there, and there's a negative in the front, this negative right here in the front. So your answer is going to be negative 16. Okay, and over here, the 24 divided by 8, well, we'd have to cancel that out, and 24 divided by 8 really is 3. So you really have the 3 times the negative 1 right here, and that's a negative 3 or a minus 3, whatever you want to call it. And then we have the 24 with the 6, the 24 and the 6, that'll cancel out, and that'll become a 4, and the 1 over here times 4 right here, that's going to be a 4 with an x, of course. Don't forget to bring down the x. And last but not least, you have the 24 over a 4, which actually cancels out and becomes a 6 because 24 divided by 4 is 6. So what we really have now is this 3 times 6, but don't forget there's a negative sign right in front of the 3. So that's negative 3 times 6. That's really a negative 18 or a minus 18, whatever you want to call it. So what we've done is eliminated all the fractions by multiplying by that LCD, which is 24. I hope this makes sense to you guys. And now it becomes a simple problem where you do simplification on the left side, combining like terms. The signs are the same, add them, keep the sign, okay? Bring down the equal sign, bring down the 4x, bring down the minus 18. And now to get x by itself, x is on the right side. Let's get x by itself on the right side by doing the opposite. And we're going to get rid of the minus 18 first by doing plus 18. That'll cancel out. Plus 18 over here. And negative 19 plus 18 is negative 1. Bring down the 4, bring down the x with it. Our final step would be to get rid of the 4 right in front of the x. So we do that by dividing by 4. It cancels. And what you do to one side, you do to the other side, divide by 4. And that is your answer. You can't divide 1 by 4. So you're just going to leave it like a fraction. X equals negative 1 divided by 4. There you go. X equals negative 1/4. So I hope this helps you out. And I hope you guys study this and do well on this part of the quiz Friday.